Good morning. Welcome to episode 20 of the Jessica Ruth Knits podcast. I am Jessica and I am your host, and this is the podcast about knitting and life. I am coming to you today from Santa Cruz, California, where I am temporarily for this summer. And yeah, I have a lot to talk about today in a short amount of time, so I'm just going to cut to the chase and start showing you guys what I've been working on. So I have a finished object. I finished my bendy arrow shawl, and it's not really going to fit in the screen, but it's like this, and then it goes really long. That it's kind of an odd shape to wear. I don't know. I feel like I'm bundling up for the winter. Yeah, can you guys see it? So this shawl it seemed like it flew. Because it's not, so it's knit from one point down, I don't know if I can show you. So you start at this little point here, and then you knit to here. That's all going that way. Then this gray stripe here is short rows, so it changes directions. And then you just knit this little skinny triangle. See, like right here is where it changes. You knit this skinny triangle. So there's never a point when you have like 400 stitches on your needles, which made it seem like it really flew. You're still working the same amount of stitches and length, but it's like a mental game. So I finished this in about 2 weeks. Yeah, probably just under 2 weeks. The local knit group at the local yarn shop downtown was doing this as a knit along, and so I joined in a couple weeks late, and yeah, still finished it on time, so I was pretty excited about that. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this or give it away or what, but the yarn is Twisted Owl Fiber Studios, and I've got it all on my Ravelry project page. Oh, so Ravelry, my name is Sergeant Griff's Girl, so it's SGTGRIFFS Girl, GIRL. On Instagram, I'm Jessica Ruth Knits, and I'm Jessica Knits on Facebook. So if you have any questions about what yarn I used, it is all listed there on Ravelry. And I did play Yarn Chicken. So I knit really loose. I went down a needle size or two, and I still almost ran out of yarn. So I think if I hadn't added in this gray mini, I might have ran out of the light gray here. So just keep that in mind if you are a loose knitter like me. Even though I went down in needle size, which I thought would account for gauge, I still almost used up the whole entire skein. So yeah, just beware. But it was super fun to knit. It's super easy. So if you're a beginner, you can totally knit this one. The only thing, the only real techniques it has is the yarn over center stripe, and then there is short rows. But short rows, guys, are so not intimidating. Just sit down and do it, and y'all can do it. Everybody thinks they're a lot harder than they really are, but they make total sense once you're doing them, and they're so fun. So I would say this is a beginner-friendly pattern if you're looking for a shawl that's not going to bore you to death, and where you can learn maybe a new technique or two. So, Bendy Arrow, it's by Charlotte Borey? I think it's B-O-R-Y. It might be B-O-R-E-Y. But again, it's all linked in Ravelry. So, that was my finished object, and I have 3 works in progress. So, I'll start with my fade socks, which you guys have seen before. I did the Find Your Fade shawl, and I had a whole bunch of extra yarn. So I knit this guy, and I cast on for the second one. So last week, I was right here at the marker. I had just put in the toe, so now I'm more than halfway up the foot. If I hold them up like that, I'm on this color here now. So I just have this color and then the cream color, and then I'm ready to put in the toe. I mean the heel. So I'm pretty pleased with that progress. And yeah, I wasn't gonna be in a hurry to knit on these socks because they were just gonna be like my at the doctor's office socks. But I want the needles clear so I can start another pair of socks. So that's kind of been my motivation to knit on these guys. And this is in my Freckled Whimsy bag. You guys have seen this if you watched any of my previous episodes. It's the Lazy Sloths, and I love it. So, I'll show you guys another sock next. And this kind of ties into what I'm going to talk about in a little bit later in the podcast, but I was gifted some gorgeous yarns, and thank you to the benefactor. You know who you are. I'm floored that you would send me all of the yarn that you did, and so I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm going to talk about in a minute about how I'm going to share that yarn with you guys. But one skein I just couldn't not cast on was this one. So this is by Lollipop Yarn. The colorway is the Bright Side. And I was not sure how it was going to stripe up. I wasn't sure, because see how the black here looks like such a thin strip compared to these guys? So I was really anxious to cast it on. So it came with a mini. It's gonna blow out. But it really is that neon. So I cast on, and this is what it looks like. Sorry, there's all these. Like that. So guys, okay, it reminds me of like asphalt and maybe a construction crew, like not the caution tape, but just like those neon signs they have, maybe like road construction, I don't know. But look at that, it is so bright and so fun. So obviously this gray speckledy stripe here is like double the size of these guys. So I'm anxious to get a couple more stripes going and to see how it looks. But I just did the cuff and the heel in the mini color, which is the same yellow as this that's in the big ball of yarn. And I'm gonna make these the same size as those fade socks that I just showed you, because those are shorties, and I just kind of like winged it and stopped when I thought it was long enough, and I love how they fit. So this guy's gonna be just the same size as that fade sock. But yeah, it's like so neon, guys. It's so neon. I love it. So I mentioned that I really wanted to finish my Find Your Fade socks because I want the needle free, and I want the needle free to cast on this. So Amy, and this is it's a British Bee Knits. Amy of the Stranded, I think it's Stranded podcast, and then her yarn is Stranded Dye Works, but it might be the Stranded Dye Works podcast. Which you guys should go check out. She is hilarious, and so animated and so fun to watch. But she is doing a British knit along right now, and so I thought this would be super fun to cast on, just as some shorty socks to enter in her British. And what I didn't realize, so I just pulled it out, put it in my bag, and as soon as those needles are free, I'm going to cast this on. So on the back, it has all the info, and I'll read it to you. It said, the colorway, I'm guessing, is The Bear Went Over the Mountain. The line is Slim Jim Self-Striping Sock Yarn, and it says it's a trick-or-treat ball. And I was like, this is not a Halloween color. I don't know why it says trick-or-treat, right? That's what you're thinking too? But listen. Can you guys hear that? It's like a magic ball, and there's something inside. Oh my goodness, guys. I can't wait to see what's inside of this. So obviously you have to knit it to get to the bottom, because like there's no way you could dig through to find out what's on the inside. Now I really want to cast these on. So Amy, Stranded Dye Works, I'm coming for you as soon as my needles are free. I had just cast on those double points, so I'm more likely to finish the fade socks on the magic loop needles than I am to do the double points with those neon green ones. And I've mentioned before, I like double points and I like magic loop pretty much equally. Usually I'll have a sock going on each. So that way if I feel like knitting with double points that day, I can. And if I feel like knitting with magic loop, I can. Or I can just pick up whichever. It doesn't feel as monotonous when you're sock knitting if I change up the methods. I don't like those little 9-inch circulars. Those hurt my fingers. I know a lot of people either love them or hate them, and I hate them. So I'm going to stick with magic loop or double points when I do my socks. And that is housed in this bag. I stole a strap from another bag of mine. It's like a rainy day bag, and it's super cute. This one might be the one. One of them doesn't have a tag. I don't think this one does. Yeah, there's nothing to... Oh, no, here. It just says Cool Beans Print Co. But that's all. Sorry, my phone keeps vibrating. My grandma's sister-in-law just passed. And they're basically like sisters because they've been sisters-in-laws for like 70 years. So she just passed in Iowa, so we're trying to figure out who's going to take my grandma out to the funeral. So if I look down at my phone, it's only because we're trying to figure out funeral logistics and we have to fly out tomorrow. So I might be going with my mom, or my aunt might take her, like my grandma's daughter. So we're just trying to figure out all the logistics. But yeah, all right, my last work in progress. And guys, we're flying through this. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be a shorter one today, but like I said, I'm pressed on time and I want to be able to get everything in to this episode. So my very last work in progress is my Perkins Cove pullover. And you guys have seen this before, but let me show you how much I got done on it since last episode. So how does it go? Okay, so here. So this little stitch marker here is where I was last episode. I'd either just joined or I was just about to separate for the sleeve, sorry. So it's like this. It's linen. The yarn is Zoe by Juniper Moon. It's a linen and cotton blend. I'm making this short sleeve because I'm always hot and I don't really need a long sleeve linen shirt because obviously you're not going to wear it in the winter. But that's where I was last time. And yeah, I'm probably 6-8 inches down from the underarm. So I'm really loving it. It's flying. I did quite a bunch of shaping. Can you see how the front dips down? Like 2 inches more than the back. Like that. So I am a rather busty person, so I did a bunch of short row shaping for the bust. It was hard to fit it in. Let me see if I can show you guys. No. Well, it was hard to fit in the short row shaping in the pattern. Okay, like here, you can kind of see it. No, it's not going to show up very well, but like here's a short row right there. So it's like, it's thicker there, and then it's, I don't know, it's only one there. But basically, I wrote it all down in my Ravelry notes, or it will be in my notes. If it's not there now, I have it all down on a notepad. But my bust region eats up a lot of yardage or inches. So if I don't put in short rows for my bust, then any sweater I knit, it's gonna be like a crop top in the front and it's gonna be a normal length in the back. And that's not what I need. So I add short rows to add length. I don't need to add extra stitches per se, like width-wise. I just need to add extra length to go over the bust area. Does that make sense? So short rows don't add any stitches, so they don't add any width, but they add length to your project. So that is why I typically do short row bust rows. I don't know what to call them. And I don't follow a pattern per se. If you need to alter a pattern for, an odd size, whether it be bust darts or I've put in butt short rows or like butt shaping because I have like a ski slope butt. So Amy Herzog has a couple books that are really good on the subject, and she walks you through it, and you can pretty much alter any pattern that you need to fit your body type. So just because I'm a large person doesn't mean I need to knit, you know, like a 5X sweater so it fits in one place, but then it's going to be baggy in another. I don't necessarily need all my sweaters fitted, but I would like them to look like they fit me, and I didn't just buy it, you know, off the clearance rack at Goodwill or something and, you know, had to make it work. So I want my sweaters to look like they are for me, which is why I do the bust short rows. So Amy Herzog, it's Herzog, has a ton of information. She's got the custom fit website, which you can plug in your gauge and she'll give you the stitch counts and everything. She's incredible. So if you need any information on altering a sweater to fit your particular body shape, whether it be, you know, on the larger side or on the smaller side, she'll walk you through it all. So I highly recommend her information out there. And my Perkins Cove is housed in this project bag, which I love. And I put a little leaf stitch marker on there. Yeah, so guys, we're only at 16 minutes in, and I've already shown you all of my knitting. So, alright, let me see. Okay, 2 things upcoming. I am going to hopefully be casting on for the So Faded sweater. Again, it's by Andrea Mowry, and I don't know if fading patterns right now are just trendy or if they're gonna stick around, but I love the concept. So I picked these yarns. Let me get them in the right order. That, I think it's that way. Yeah. Isn't that gonna be pretty? So let me see. You can never hold them up very well. Okay, so it's gonna be those 2 into that one, because that has some of the blue, I think. It's either this one next or this one next. Like that. And then they'll fade down into this pinky one here. It's like that. I think it's gonna be so pretty. Oh, sorry, my nose itched. I am debating if I'm gonna tell myself I need to finish my Perkins Cove sweater before I cast on another sweater, or if they're different enough that I can have 2 going, especially now that I finished my bendy arrow shawl. It's kind of like exchanging one big project for another. So I'm not sure if I'm going to cast this on this week or if I will just skein them up or ball them up, wind them up. But I wanted to show them to you guys before I wind them up so that you could see them in the skein form. So they are absolutely gorgeous. So let me walk you through what they are. This one that's going to be like the neutral is Suburban Stitcher in the colorway Granny Square. So super fun, super pretty. What a good neutral, but it still has all the colors in it. I love that. So that's the first one. Then the next one is a Rock and a Tree yarn. I've never heard of them. In the colorway Mer People. So this one is super pretty. So again, this will tie in with the gray from the one before, and then it has the blues and the greens for the next one. So, yeah, their tags, a rock and a tree. Oh, sorry. The next one I think is this one. I think this one has more blues. So this is Sunrise Fiber Company, and I've knit with them before and love them. The colorway is Melody. And so it's got all, look at those colors. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited. So it's gonna go to that one as the third color. Then next is Ellie and Ada? Ada? How do you say it? And this is the New School Supplies colorway. I love how dyers come up with fun names. Look at that. So this has less of the blues, but more of the purples, because then it's gonna fade into this one, which is Mitchell's Creations in the colorway Zombie Butterfly. And it's that. Oh, guys, how pretty. So there's their tag. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna do this one up on my face or this one. I might start with this one and then fade down to this, but I don't know. What do you think? Because if I do this one down at my waist, like I don't know if you want to have the lighter part around your waist or if the darker part, but then I like darks up at my face. I don't know. So I'll cake them up and then decide what I'm gonna do. So that one, okay. So I have our big announcement, exciting news, which ties into all of the yarn that I was sent. So a very generous viewer, like I said previously, sent me a ton of yarn, and I am so excited about all the yarn, and I just want to share it with you guys and with other knitters who would appreciate it, because I could easily keep it all and put it all in my stash and just look at how pretty my stash looks with it all in it. And I'm keeping a good portion of it, so don't think I'm like super pious and just giving away everything I have, because I'm not. I'm definitely not. I am so excited. All of this sweater yarn came from that box, so I absolutely love it, and I'm knitting with it. And the neon yarn and the British bee, I mean everything except for my faded socks came from that package. So I'm so excited about all of the yarn in there. But I'm so excited that I want to share it with you guys. So this is what we're gonna do, okay? There's a local maternity home here in Santa Cruz. And they help kind of like underprivileged women. And I think a lot of the women there either have or have had addiction problems. And so they call it a maternity home, and they really help these women get back on their feet. You know, they try to give them hope and get them on the road to self-sufficiency. So, you know, trying to help them recover from their addictions, set up their new life with their baby, and be a productive member of society. And give that baby, you know, the best life possible. So you guys know, like, babies are near and dear to my heart. For those of you who this is your first time, first of all, welcome. And I'm out in California for the summer to do IVF. So my husband and I have been trying to get pregnant for 10 years. Well, October will be our 10th year anniversary. So almost 10 years. And we cannot get pregnant naturally. We have to do IVF. And so it's finally just the right time to do IVF. So I'm out here staying at my parents' house to do IVF, and I transferred my job out from Starbucks. So I thought, there's not a better charity for me to choose right now than a pregnancy home, considering how I'm out here to try to get pregnant. So, you know, there's so many worthy charities that we can knit for. You know, and especially like in Santa Cruz, there's so many homeless, there's so many animals at the SPCA. So we could pick any charity and it would be just as worthwhile to knit for. But I chose this maternity home because I'm out here in California to get pregnant. You know, and here are all these women who have babies or who are going to have babies and who just don't have a leg up in life. So, the local maternity home is called the Sienna House, and I have started a thread in the Ravelry group. So there's a Jessica Ruth Knits podcast group, and there's a thread called To Hold and to Cherish, a charity knitting project. And all of the information about this knitting drive is in there. So if you've missed something I said, you can go check out the forum group or the forum post. And I have also linked to their website. So if you are interested in what they do, you can click on their link and go read and just play around on their website. So I'm not going to say too much more about them. What I will say also is, depending on how many items we get, or I get to donate to them, I don't know if they'll say it's too much, so I will then find another pregnancy or hospital or something to donate the rest of the items to. So I don't know how much we're gonna get from this. So I'm assuming they will love it all and take it all, but if we get thousands of items, which I highly doubt, they might say, whoa, like that's too many. So every item that I receive from you guys will be donated to a good cause. Let's just say that. But at first, we're going to donate to the Sienna house. Okay, so what am I talking about, guys? I want you to knit something for the Sienna house. So preferably something baby, but it could also be something for the new mom. So like a shawl, she can wear a shawl while she's breastfeeding. If you want to knit her socks, like just so that she has something pampered. Baby items, if you want to knit sweaters, hats, booties, bibs, a blanket, if you want to go big or go home. Whatever it is you guys feel like you want to knit for a baby, use common sense. I probably wouldn't use like opal yarn because it is rather scratchy, but they didn't give me any restrictions. So it doesn't have to be cotton, it doesn't have to be this, it doesn't have to be that, but just use common sense, guys, okay? If you wouldn't put it on your own baby, let's maybe not send it to them. So knit something for a baby or a new mom. Toys, if you guys want to knit a stuffy, that's fine too. So I just think let's just like bomb them with love and say this is from the knitting community. So what am I gonna do for you? Because I'm not just asking you to send me stuff, I'm gonna send you something. So remember, I was gifted a ton of yarn, and by a ton I mean a ton. So if you guys send me something to donate to this baby maternity home, I'm going to send you a skein of indie dyed yarn in return. So once I receive your item, I will mail you out a skein. We're going to do this until July 31st. So you guys can ship up until July 31st. And then after that, I'll see how much yarn I have left. Again, if I get thousands of projects, I don't have thousands of skeins of yarn. So, I'm going to have to cut it off at some point, but let's try to keep it open until July 31st, ship by date. Also, only within the US. It is not in my budget to ship outside of the US right now, so I'm terribly sorry if you guys live outside of the US and you want to participate. Now, you can definitely ship things to donate. I just can't afford to ship a skein internationally back. I'm already trying to get my parents to donate to the shipping costs to send everybody out a skein of yarn within the States. So that's going to be a challenge in itself, but I will cover that part, whether it's me or my parents or whoever else. But yeah, right now we're not able to ship internationally, but you guys are more than welcome to participate and to send in baby items if you so wish. And if you're international and you still want to participate, you can knit something for your own, like for a local pregnancy center there. And you can still post it in the thread, because if you're not going to get a skein from me anyways, you might as well donate it to your community, right? And then you'll save on shipping, and we could bless somebody, outside of my community. But if you want to send it in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably wait till like mid-August to make sure I have all of the items. And then I want to take a picture of everything we've knit for this charity house. And then I'll take it down and donate it to all of them. And that way, if I get scragglers, like if you don't ship by July 31st, that's fine. I can just take it down after I take like the big group of items. But yeah, I can't guarantee if you ship it later that I will have yarn left to send you. Hopefully I will, and hopefully we can extend the deadline. But we're just gonna have to kind of play it by ear and see how many items we get and how much yarn I still have left and how that all works. So guys, I am so excited about this. So you can knit from your stash, okay? You don't have to use the skein. Obviously, you can't use the skein I send you because I'm not sending it to you until you send me something. So, but you can knit from your stash. You can knit bulky, you can knit chunky, you can knit worsted, you could DK, whatever. I'm sending you, I have mostly fingering. So that's what I'll be sending you in return. But you can knit from whatever. If you send multiple items, I will send you one skein. So, yeah, it's kind of like, I just didn't want to ask for, not handouts, because it's not benefiting me, but I wanted to find a way to share the yarn that I was given with you all, and I thought this was such a worthy cause. So we're not going to get into details like you sent me 5 baby bibs, so I send you 5 skeins. If I have a ton of yarn at the end, you know, maybe, but I'm not anticipating having a ton of extra yarn, so I will send, it's kind of 1 skein per person, let's just say it at that, for however many items you want to send. And I have been floored. I put this on Instagram 2 days ago, maybe even just yesterday, and you guys, the responses that I have got have been so generous and so overwhelming. I knew the knitting community was super generous to begin with, but it has been fun to see how everybody kind of rallies around a cause, and everybody else gets excited about this. So, yeah, if you guys have any other questions, you can message me on Instagram, on Ravelry. The Ravelry forum shows the address, the P.O. box where you all can mail it to. But if you're not on Ravelry and you just want to message me, that's totally fine too. So I'll be more than happy to send you out the P.O. box address. Yeah, any other questions? I think I covered it all. No international. Ship by July 31st. The P.O. box is listed in the Ravelry forum, or you can message me. And yeah, anything for the baby or mom or new mom. If you want to knit a baby hat and a matching mom hat, like how cute would that be? So Santa Cruz, we're on the coast, so it's still pretty chilly in the mornings, because the fog doesn't roll out till like noon. So, you know, hats, shawl, I've been wearing my Find Your Fade almost every day out here. So shawls would be wonderful, hats, fingerless mitts, if you guys, I mean, make it work, right? If you want to do a matching pair of fingerless mitts for mom and baby, like how cute would that be? So just whatever you think a new mom or a baby would want, I think would be awesome. So yeah, that's my exciting news. That's like what I'm so excited about this week. My dad asked, or it all came about because I was knitting on my bendy arrow, and I got the yarn in the mail and I was opening it and it was like Christmas. And my dad said, well, you know, would you knit some of it for charity? And I was like, you know, for sure, but me knitting for charity, they would get like 1 shawl a month, you know, or like, it wouldn't be a mass thing. So, you know, I could take a little donation down like once a month, and that would be, I'm sure they would love it. But then I thought, I have all this yarn, and why not share it with you guys, and in return have even more baby, you know, a wider variety of knitted items to bless this maternity home with. So that's kind of how it came about. It was my dad, you know, asking, well, do you knit for charity? And I was like, sometimes, but most of the time I just knit to knit. Yeah, and so how many times, like, baby items are so fun to knit, and a lot of us don't have babies, but we still want to make a baby item. So this is a perfect way to get that baby knitting itch out and have it go to a worthy cause, and you get a skein of indie dyed yarn in return. So it's like a win-win. Yeah. So, all right, guys, that is it for today. My mom is gonna be home shortly, and we're gonna try to figure out this whole funeral flight arrangement. I had said I could go if they need me to, because, so it's my grandma's sister-in-law, but my grandma's 90, 92, and so I thought I can go and take my knitting, and she can just sit and chit-chat, you know, and catch up with her siblings, and not feel like I'm in a hurry to go anywhere. So, and I know it's all my family. So I had offered, but I know my aunt really wants to go out to Iowa at some point. I'm just not sure if she wants to go out like tomorrow. So, yeah, so we'll see. I might be going to Iowa. I might not. But yeah, we're trying to figure. My mom's over at my grandma's right now, talking to her. She had to tell her that her sister-in-law passed. So I don't envy her that. But yeah, you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, you can keep up with what I'm doing. I would love if you haven't subscribed already, if you subscribe to the podcast, and if you give this video a thumbs up. That really, it boosts the, I don't know if it's rankings in YouTube, but it'll suggest my videos to more people if they have lots of thumbs up. So give it a thumbs up if you like the video. If you don't have to give it a thumbs up. I'm not forcing you. And subscribe if you haven't, and I would absolutely love that. And let's get to baby knitting. So yeah, I'm excited to go pick out a pattern after I finish all my socks. So, alright guys, have a good week, happy knitting, and message me if you have any questions about the charity knitting drive. So, I'm super excited. Thanks guys, take care.